pleasure that the police decided to show up at the very end of the protest. We'll see that there's a lot of the protesters are directly following police right now. See people there throwing snow. And you see here many of the police cars that are now lining the street that the protesters were just marching along a short time ago. Looks like officers are trying to leave right now. And this is a time to acknowledge the legacy of George Floyd's murder and the impact it is having on this community now after the murder of Renee Good. But this is a community that is still very much dealing with the legacy of that impact. Now the protesters, some of them applauding that the police have left. If you're wondering what that was all about, John and I just exchanged facial expressions, essentially expressing the same thing. We don't know why police were suddenly in the middle of the crowd with a squad car. But now that they've left, a lot of the crowd now coming back around this corner and starting to join back up with the protesters after they had come back to where they had started at Canopy by Hilton. And you see the protesters going back to much of what they were doing at the very start of our reporting out here. Which is going back to making all of that noise, attempting to put pressure, renewed pressure, on these hotels that they believe have been hosting ICE agents. We're making our way down the block here where some of the protesters have now continued their march. You hear the many honking horns. Some people are even holding up signs out the window of their cars. Show support with the protesters. Now you see the protesters here turning onto Chicago Avenue, walking in front of U.S. Bank Stadium. That squad car that you're seeing there with the flashing lights, I believe, is a Hennepin County Sheriff's deputy's squad car. So different from the Minneapolis police that we saw earlier. And again, still that honking of support as this protest, which had arrived back at where it had begun and ostensibly seemed to be just settling in to do more noise out there, and now spontaneously continuing its march. Many of the protesters, you see them splayed out there behind us as we continue to walk. Still on the march, still with energy, still angry about expressing their anger about the Trump administration's presence in their communities. And of being able to see this on the ground perspective of what is happening in Minneapolis, quite literally shoe leather journalism, as we are wearing the holes in our snow boots. If it's important to you to be able to show this, go to statusquonews.com/join for as low as $5 a month. You go to help John and I afford new boots to be able to keep up with these protest movements that will continue to evolve as the weekend continues. Because more demonstrations are planned in the days ahead. We're expecting a large march and rally tomorrow at 1 o'clock Central. That's 2 o'clock Eastern, adjust for your time zone. You're seeing a lot of the protesters here giving grief to this Hennepin County Sheriff's deputies squad. I'll note that the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office might be garnering even more attention from the protesters because of the role that the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office has played in some of ICE's operations. It's often been sheriff deputies. It's often been sheriff deputies who have been clearing out protesters who show up to ICE operations, clearing out those protesters, or at least clearing a path through them, allowing the ICE agents to... And now you see these protesters who have pushed in on the squad.
What? Weird vibe. Yeah.
And then moving back.
I think
some of them.
What's that? There's a lot of youth out here.
Train is coming. Train. Don't get hit by a train.
Yeah.
Crowd is trying to make room for a train, part of the metro system that runs here through downtown. Trying to get to one side or the other of the tracks here. As the Blue Line, which is the same train that runs all the way to the federal building here just outside of Minneapolis, makes its way through.
How you guys doing? All right, how are you doing?
I do want to note something for no doubt when this protest is labeled by the right-wing media machine as being, rioters, etc. tomorrow or even tonight already, that the protesters do part themselves to allow the passage of public transit.
It's shut down, so it's not.
But it seems like the train has shut down and isn't necessarily going to come forward. And so the protesters are a little confused as to what they should be doing, as another train then comes from the other direction. What's your name, man?
My name's Abdi.
Abdi.
Yeah.
And you're out here with a Somali flag.
This is Somali flag, brother.
I assume you're out here. I assume you're a member of the Somali community.
Yes.
Yeah. Why did you feel it was important to come out here with a Somali flag? Be very public about your heritage.
We are here to protect our rights. We are here to protect the eyes, not to kill no one else for our community. We are here to fight our rights, brother. And this is Somali flag, okay?
Can you describe some of the ways that your community has been victimized by ICE? And if you would be willing to walk with us, are you able? So, Abdi, can you describe for folks who aren't here in the Twin Cities area, what are some ways that the Somali community has been victimized by ICE, by the Trump administration, with the policies that it's carrying out here?
Okay. They are, whenever they see our color, that we are black or we are different from the white people, ICE are pointing us and ICE are arresting us. So that's called discrimination. We came this country, we thought this country is a better place to live, but now we see Trump is making this country ugly. Okay? America is a good country, but President Trump is making America ugly, and he's killing his own people. That's why we are here now. That's what we are protesting right now, brother.
I don't know if you have family here. It seemed like you were at least with some friends or family here tonight. But can you just, for someone who's not from the Twin Cities area, isn't familiar with the Somali community, describe for folks what are the people like? What do they add? The Trump administration has tried to make the Somali community look like criminals. Set the record straight.
You know, let me tell you one thing, okay? If one person commit a crime, it doesn't mean that all community are committed crime. You know what I'm saying? So we agree, the government, to arrest for those making us look ugly or making fraud or making crimes. Let them arrest. As a citizen, we agree that. But what's going with these days is they keep saying Somalian. Can we say Somalians are bad 100%? Can we say that? No, we can't say that. If I say to you all Americans are bad, are you going to agree with me?
Right. No, I would say you're painting with a broad brush.
If you say some did that, maybe you can believe. But if you say all are bad, that's really bad. So our concern is we are fighting for our rights. We are citizens. We come this country for better life. Okay? We don't come here to get arrested. Every day we can't go to work. We can't go nowhere. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Abdi, and talking to us. Was there a reason that you felt compelled to be out here tonight, or what was the message that you were looking to deliver in coming out here tonight to this demonstration?
Nicole, the girl dead a couple days ago, she died to protect us. Okay? She died because of us. She was one of our community. We love her. We pray for her. That's why we're here too. We, as a Somali community, we come here to participate this protest and to show support to our community. We are one and we are united. That's the reason I came here tonight.
Abdi, when you first saw that she had been killed, What were you feeling? What were you thinking just in that moment?
I was feeling that I'm going to be next. That's what I was feeling. And I was feeling that my neighbor going to be next. So we need Trump administration to start what they're doing. We, Minneapolis, we are one. Minnesota, one. United States, one. We hate the crimes and we need unity.
Abdi, before I let you go, just two last questions. One, is there anything else you would want to add while you had the platform?
I want to add, and I want to say to your followers or whoever is watching you, let us work to be united. Let us stop hate. Let us be one. That's all. And let us stop ICE.
And then the last question for you is just, can you spell your name? Can you spell Abdi for me?
ABDI.
ABDI. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time, man. Appreciate it. Member of the Somali community here in Minneapolis, a community that was being directly targeted by the Trump administration through racist caricature attacks by the president that ended up being seemingly the reason that Operation Midway Blitz, or excuse me, I'm confusing my different American city crackdowns that have happened in this country over the last 12 months because there have been so many. Operation Metro Surge here in the Twin Cities area. That reason, starting with Trump's racist assertions about the Somali community, and then that carrying right into Metro Surge, carrying right into Nick Shirley's video. He's a right-wing provocateur, made a video that had many inaccuracies as it asserted widespread fraud in just Somali-run daycares, as if fraud were a uniquely Somali problem. It is not, by the way. It is also not a uniquely Minnesota problem. But then that video seemingly led to the Trump administration deploying 2,000 more agents here to this city, to these cities in the Twin Cities area. We're catching back up to some of the protesters here that are seemingly as fractured into two groups. There's one group that's backed by Canopy, by Hilton, another group that continued marching. We were trying to catch up to the group that continued marching here, so we're cutting down some side streets as a way to try and catch up as we continue to talk. But the continuation, those 2,000 agents being put here in Minneapolis that they said were going to be deployed over the course of a month. It was the first day of Border Patrol's deployment here, the very beginning of that 2,000 agent surge when Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by Jonathan Ross, an ICE agent. And then the Trump administration responded to this mass mobilization, some of which that you are seeing here tonight, that we are bringing you on our camera, from our camera, and from our microphone. The Trump administration's response is not to acknowledge that pressure and respond to it by relaxing, by changing course. Instead, it is to double down and send 1,000 more agents here into the streets of Minneapolis, of St. Paul, and the surrounding communities. We've now caught back up with the marchers. We're right on the tail end of them here. But this is a group of several hundred from the overall crowd of several thousand. Right now we're walking across some very slick ground, so it's the reason for the silence that you're hearing from me is I'm just focused on not falling. Because it's cold, icy, and winter here in Minnesota. I want to take a moment again to thank the Midas Touch Network for helping support and lift up our reporting here at Status Quo. If you're from their audience, welcome. Thank you for being with us tonight as we continue to show what these marches are like here on the ground in Minneapolis. If you want to continue to follow what is happening in marches like this, there's another one planned for tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern, that we plan as right now to carry live as well. We've also been continuously showing the protests that are happening outside the Whipple Federal Building, where ICE is staging many of its operations. There's been a continued crowd that's been gathering there to protest the Trump administration's presence in their communities. It's been met with a lot of force by the Trump administration. Tear gas, flashbangs, pepper balls. That's just what we saw used today. We've also seen them use pepper spray. Another quote-unquote non-lethal means on peaceful protesters. If you want to continue to follow all that coverage as we offer it, get subscribed so that way you're notified as soon as we do go live. You can continue to track these movements as they happen day after day here in Minneapolis. This has been daily marches, demonstrations, anger, frustration being levied against the Trump administration in the wake of Renee Nicole Good's killing by ICE agent Jonathan Ross. You hear all that honking. People in the cars throwing fists of support out the window, offering fist bumps, cheering on these protesters as they march. And these protesters who have been marching are now returning to Canopy by Hilton in the much larger crowd that remained there to demonstrate. I'll note that this protest was scheduled to end at 9 o'clock Central Time. It's now 9:40, and I don't see it diminishing. Should give you a sense of the anger here. People are prepared to protest into the night. If you appreciate us continuing to offer this coverage, again, get subscribed, go to statusquo.com/join. Anything you can do to sustain us is much appreciated. I apologize. I got interrupted there. I'm a reporter. I'm interviewing people about why they wanted to be out here tonight. And the message they hope we deliver. Would you mind if I ask you a few questions? You don't have to. I can't make it, but I promise I'll keep it easy on you. I wasn't trying to get past that. I'm a reporter. All right, JD Siskowski for Status Quo, and I am here with
Kit DeFlorin.
Can you spell that for us?
KITDEFLORIN.
Why did you want to be out here tonight?
I want to show my support to my immigrant community members, and I want ICE out of the city.
You're already getting my next question, which is going to be the message you came to deliver, which is clearly ICE out of your cities.
ICE is not welcome here.
Is your activism tonight, was it directly inspired by the murder of Renee Nicole Good, or were you out demonstrating before that? Give us a little bit of sense of where your outrage of the Trump administration began.
Well, I've been outraged for a long time now, but the murder of Renee Good was definitely a problem. But I'm also a senior at Roosevelt High School, where they attacked 2 days ago now, and I am just so outraged and so upset, and I just needed to be here, yeah.
You're in high school at Roosevelt.
Yes.
Can you describe what happened at Roosevelt for people who maybe hadn't seen the news about it? What did ICE do at your high school?
ICE showed up at dismissal time, waiting for our immigrant and, well, really just anyone who wasn't white to come out. They were trying to take students. Our teachers were not okay with that. They were amazing. Our community really came together to protect our students. But 2 teachers got detained, and they ended up shooting off chemical weapons at students and teachers.
At minors, mind you.
Yes.
Shooting up chemical weapons at minors.
Yes, 14-year-olds. And I was not there when it happened, but I saw and I know many of the people that were there, and it was just so upsetting to see.
How have your friends, your fellow students, and yourself been absorbing the shock of seeing ICE at your school, interrupting, what's supposed to just be a place of learning for you?
It's shifted. I've been upset. I've been sad. I've been scared, and I've been angry. I don't know what going back to school is going to look like right now, and that is really unfortunate.
a student who doesn't know what going back to school is going to look like, because the norms of these cities have been completely upended by ICE's presence here in the Twin Cities, leaving students feeling scared about what is to come next at their schools. So as you look at this world that's about to be left to you, I mean, you're going to graduate. I don't know what your plans are after graduation, but as you look to inherit this country, what are your feelings about the country that you stand to inherit?
I think that there should never be a country where school has to be canceled for the safety of the students from their own government. And I need that to end now, and I don't know what I'll do if it doesn't.
What, as somebody who is going to be able to pick your own leaders here, very soon, as somebody who's going to have influence over people of power trying to court your vote, your support in some way, or maybe trying to repress you, what are you looking for in your leaders in this moment? What kind of action do you want to see from them?
I think we need something new. I think that we need leaders who aren't afraid to break the mold. I think that people are trying too hard to please everyone, and I think that politics should be much more about morals. I just think that we need something new, somebody that's going to break the mold and show that they really care about the people.
I don't even think it's necessarily fair for me or anyone to ask this of you or to really put this on you, but the Trump administration they've said that they're going to deploy 1,000 more agents on top of the 2,000 they were already planning to deploy here in the coming weeks. When you hear that, what's your reaction? How does it make you feel about the prospect of continuing to call the Twin Cities home, as the Trump administration is really leaning its weight, full force of the federal government leaning against the Twin Cities in the state of Minnesota?
My heart hurts. We at Twin Cities, the people that live here, all of the immigrants, everyone in this community, we are not the violent criminals that the Trump administration is saying that we are. We love each other and we're here for each other, and ICE is scared of that. The Trump administration is scared of a community that is strong, and they're trying to tear us apart, and we're not going to let that happen.
Trump administration has a lot of resources it can throw here at the Twin Cities, but I think the Twin Cities is showing tonight the amount of energy it has to resist the Trump administration, fight back. As you stand here right now, how much energy do you feel like you have? How long can you continue to push back against this administration?
I think that there's something to be said for that this community has gone through things like this before. George Floyd and his murder in 2020 was traumatizing for the community, and I think that we just seeing all of the things that are happening right now, it's hard for people not to have such a reaction that gives them the energy to come out here. And I think that it's really important, if you're feeling sad or if you're feeling upset and you're feeling hopeless, to shift that into energy as much as you can and to come out and speak your word.
Want to let you get back to the protest, but is there anything else you would want to add while you have the platform?
Just be there for each other. Be a strong community. Check on your friends and your family and your neighbors.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. Be there for each other. That's the message being delivered from the youth here in the Twin Cities area. Be there for each other. Be kind. Check on one another. And John, we've been streaming a lot longer than we intended. Like we said, we thought that this march was, or not even necessarily a march, it was just going to be a noise demonstration at a single hotel. But
Pull this out.
Look at that. Wait. Good. We thought that this demonstration was only going to be 2 hours at a single hotel. It turned into a march. And that march has gone way past now the 2 hours. We're starting hour 3 here out in the Twin Cities. As people are continuing to demonstrate, continuing to make their voices heard, continuing to make noise. And that noise, let's not let the central message be forgotten here. The whole point of these demonstrations was to send a clear message to hotels here in the Twin Cities area, letting those corporate interests know that these people do not want those hotels to cater to ICE agents and other federal immigration agents. They want service to be refused to those agents, as one Hilton location here in the Twin Cities area did refuse it. And of course, the ultimate goal here of not offering them a place to stay, not offering the agents a place to stay, and thereby getting ICE and other immigration enforcement agents and getting other immigration agents out of their communities entirely. And as we enter hour 3 of this demonstration, to all of you watching, as you're looking right now just at Canopy by Hilton, this is the hotel where the demonstration started. We're just doing some technical things here to be able to support the camera and try and keep the stream going as long as we can. We got to service our equipment from time to time here to be able to continue to broadcast live.
All right, we'll get back out there.
But the best thing you can do to support us is go to statusquo.com/join. $5 a month goes to support this literal on-the-ground, boots-on-the-ground journalism that we are doing here in the Twin Cities area and have been doing for weeks and weeks at this point. Short of that, subscribing so that you see us as we go live and report future stories. Short of that, liking and sharing this stream, getting it out to as many people as possible to be able to show the perspective of what it's like here on the ground in the Twin Cities area right now. And I mean, you can just see the festive atmosphere. I'm seeing people juggling, playing instruments. We've heard the theme of community come up many times in the interviews that we've been doing. The idea of forging community, forging bonds and a people-centered movement as a way to push back against the Trump administration. A lot of these people also telling us that they don't like the leadership that they're seeing coming out of the opposition party in this country, the Democrats, wanting to see a more robust stand taken against the Trump administration, that words are not enough. They want action. They want leadership. And if those leaders won't lead, then they're going to build the movements themselves. Looking here at a doorway into the hotel where some of the demonstrators have focused some of their attention. letting you listen in here on the crowd just to give my own voice a rest. Where do you want to go? Just a few more steps back. Okay, cool. I can't keep yelling over the crowd.
I noticed you were losing your voice earlier.
I shudder to think what tomorrow's going to be like for my voice.
This looks weird with this orange cord. Let me hide this thing.
Okay. Oh, no, you're fine.
I was trying to invent a little on-the-fly rig so I could hang up my cowbell and, you know, get a little bit more...
a little bit more cowbell. That's what every protest needs. So I am standing here with Adam. Adam, can I just have you start by spelling your name for me, please?
Sure can. Sorry, I poked you. My name is Adam Mahmoud, and that is ADAMMAHMUD.
Adam, why did you want to be out here tonight? There are days and days of demonstrations against the Trump administration that have been planned, that are planned in the future. You wanted to be here at this one. Why tonight?
It's a continuation of many. I've been out for many of the planned protests, the No Kings, obviously stretching back to George Floyd. As you can tell, there's so much energy in this city. You've been covering it for years, right? And I think we all just, at least I feel like I speak for many people in this city. There's a level of decency that folks in Minneapolis as well as just Minnesota carry. And that really, I believe, spans beyond left and right, city and urban. There's a down home, rooted humanity that I believe we've carried for a very long time. But I believe that it's disrupted. It's been totally disrupted over the last 10 plus years by the Trump regime. I mean, as our friend Adam Mockler likes to point out, Trump got his start in politics by, berating Barack Obama's name, saying that he wasn't from this country. And lest we forget, his initial foray into the presidential political arena, he was calling for violence. He was inciting violence. So I truly believe that, this is above the individual ICE officers that are still out here. The one 2 days ago, highly needs to be held to account. But, beyond that, this is about the direct call to action to the top, that Americans will not stand for this.
Before we go too deep on any one topic, I want to center the reason that so many people are out here tonight, and that is the murder of Renee Nicole Good. When you first saw that, as someone who lives around here, calls the Twin Cities your home,
yep.
What was your reaction? What were you feeling?
Yeah, born and raised in Minneapolis, and I'm a proud son of an immigrant, and biracial. My mom is white, Scandinavian from Minnesota. My dad is from Pakistan. And, I've felt the oppression from not just the threat around ICE and, the most recent infiltration or the extended one you've been covering, but frankly, the kind of the rhetoric and tone, again, carrying back 10 years. Seeing that happen to a white, young, beautiful mother and wife, and partner of someone else, my heart just broke. Because again, I had previously been thinking of how I wanted to be out here to represent the marginalized communities, and of course, she is part of a very key marginalized group. Don't get me wrong, from an LGBTQ perspective, but I think perhaps this is a call to arms to certain people, and I think you've even covered them in the last couple days, that maybe were Trump supporters, maybe have leaned a certain way for a while, but they realize this is bigger than, left, right, as I said earlier. There's this, we've crossed a line where there's no longer human dignity, no longer humanity. My heart broke is the direct answer. Sorry to be long-winded. My heart broke when I saw that happen. And I thought that could have been me, but the reality is it could have been any of us. That's the shortcut.
The Trump administration, if this were a normal society, a way that we would expect a government to respond to the will of its people, you would expect after that murder, you would expect that the Trump administration would change how it is reacting, how it is deploying its forces here. And when I say change, I mean reduce, try and de-escalate. But instead, we've only seen the Trump administration try to put more agents here on the ground. So they're going to send 1,000 more agents. What is the message that is being sent to the people of Minneapolis here tonight? Whoa, and I want to note, it seems like some of the protesters have gotten a door open to the hospital and are moving inside.
Don't go inside.
We're going to stay out.
Very illegal, and the cops will be here in any.
Protesters moving inside the Canopy by Hilton here. Seeing a divide in the crowd here. Some who are staying out, some who are going in.
Trying to yell to the guy with the megaphone to get them to come out, because that's definitely not what we want.
What was it that you came here to say? Like, what were the messages that you wanted to deliver to this hotel?
I actually didn't come here. Okay, so yeah, absolutely that anywhere possible we should stand up and not allow ICE in premises, whether that be small business, etc. We should show any legal, not like this, but any legal way possible to show our resistance and show them that we're unwelcomed here.
And I'll note that it seems like a lot of the protesters are actually gathering up near the door and trying to pressure some of the protesters to come out right now. And I've seen a stream of some of them come out. So the crowd's attempting to enact some pressure in that direction as well.
To answer your earlier question, what's the message that the administration is sending by deploying yet another 1,000 ICE agents here? It's complete fear and intimidation. And unfortunately, they want to see this rhetoric where all of us are on edge. I'm trying to be here to tell people to take a breath, don't take the bait, find legal ways to push back. We will get justice for Renee. That is something I believe is possible if we all commit to the right way about going about it.
And what do you want to see from your leaders here? And when I say your leaders, I mean, I don't think there's any love for Donald Trump in this crowd tonight. But what about leaders of the opposition party, the Democratic Party?
Yeah.
Are you seeing enough action from them? If not, what do you want to see?
I'd like to start where you live, which is local. I'm insanely proud of Mayor Fry and Governor Walz, because I believe that their response to this has been spot on, calling out, one, to not preempt investigations, but two, to call for humanity and a moment of togetherness in the wake of a tragedy. And that's what we need from the leadership that, to your point, at the top in Washington as well. On the Democratic side, I think that you hear a lot of the right messaging and seeing a lot of the right unity. I think we need to see more focus, and we push forward to the midterms to take power. We know that's an important next step. Continuing to keep the legal voice of the people loud, but not crossing any lines that they want us to cross. That's where we need to be thinking locally.
So we saw release of more video from Renee Good's murder by Alpha News today in a way that seemed kind of planned by the right wing, because we had J.D. Vance almost immediately amplifying it. Seemed like a coordinated effort across the right wing media ecosystem to amplify this video. But that video end is taken by the agent, by Jonathan Ross, who shoots. And after he shoots and kills, Renee Good says, and I apologize for the language, but says, "Fucking bitch." What do you think? What is the takeaway for you there for the regard that ICE has for human life, for its mission to supposedly serve and protect as law enforcement the American people?
I think that maybe even the reaction you saw on my face is how I felt, right? In just utter shock and disbelief. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not in law enforcement. I don't know every standard operating procedure, but nothing looked normal about that. And from every voice of reason, from any of those spheres that I've spoken to, they've concurred. Have you ever seen another officer of our military, of our police, have a cell phone in their left hand and in their right hand a gun and shoot somebody? I don't think we've ever seen that before, and maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me like that's a new level of low, of where screens and chaos and a lot of political hate and vitriol have created a firestorm, as I referred to it on Fox 9 News yesterday. And I think that the agent, we know that he previously was in a very similar situation. And what do we know about agents and law enforcement and military? They can have, like many of us, trauma and PTSD, and perhaps his reaction was triggered based on that. Again, I'm not here to judge. That's for law enforcement and the judicial system to properly litigate. But, boy, to your point, those choice words, after one has discharged their weapon into somebody's face 3 times, certainly says a lot.
Absolutely. And just to underline the point you're making about the combination of screens and guns, what we have seen in city after city here is that the Department of Homeland Security is using the cruelty that it is carrying out in all of these cities, in all of these places. It's using it as an opportunity to produce endless seeming propaganda about their mission here to feed red meat to their base of support as a way to show, look how cruel we can be. And that seemingly may have been the reason that Jonathan Ross was holding his phone out, taking a video. Is that these agents, many of them, we see walk around with cameras as they're out doing these missions to be able to produce this propaganda. And the propaganda production going hand in hand with the suffering, and no clearer display or no clearer place was that on display than with Renee Good's shooting.
I'd love to just chime into that and say that is why it's so important that independent media like you guys are out here doing what you're doing. Thank you all. Thank you, Midas Touch. Thank all you guys, Adam Mockler, all the people on the left. And, you know, I won't say just the left. The places that across the alley, people are speaking the truth right now. It is absolute, and sharing the truth, it's what's needed. And again, I'll say it again, we all need to take a breath together and try to figure out a way that we can turn down this hate and come together. The one thing that we all know that we are is human. We are all human.
Anything else you would want to add while you have the platform?
Yeah, I think the message is directly to the top. This is not hate. What you're seeing here is an act of love for community. is people coming together in wake of tragedy, calling out for what is unjust and un-American. And you need to think about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for coming up.
Absolutely. You got it. I drove down here intentionally just to find you guys. So you guys are killing it.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. That message, one of building community. One of building community is a way to try and resist the Trump administration. It's a common theme that we've heard out here tonight. That despite how a lot of this is going to be portrayed in the right-wing media sphere, is that this was meant to be a people-powered movement that was coming together out here tonight as a way to show resistance to the Trump administration's immigration crackdown and the violence that it was perpetrating here on the streets of Minneapolis. Give you just a lay of the land again, John, if you would be so kind. Just a survey.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too. See the hundreds still out here? No, I'm okay. Thank you very much. You see the hundreds of people still out here, out to demonstrate, banging on drums, banging on dumpsters, banging on instruments, banging on walls, anything to make their voices heard, make their discontent known. You're seeing people from this raised platform holding up the flags of Mexico and Somalia, nationalities that are being directly targeted by the Trump administration, by ICE, by the Department of Homeland Security. Based purely on the color of their skin, racist notions. Racist notions about what they contribute to American society, rather than trying to lift up a vision of America that is a melting pot, a community. John and I are squeezing out the last bits of battery that we have left on our equipment that allows us to be live here. We still have a little bit. We'll be able to continue broadcasting here for at least a few more minutes. But in that time, I just want to note that we will be live again tomorrow, covering another march and rally here in the Twin Cities area. That'll be at 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern. Get subscribed if you're not, so you'll be able to see our live reports on the ground of that movement. As people continue to make their voices heard here by any means necessary, including banging on a pair of dumpsters that they have now wheeled over closer to the hotel to generate as much noise as possible. And while we still have the battery, there are a few things I should also do. While we still have the battery, there are a few things we should also do. And that is, we should one more time thank Midas Touch for helping support our journalism through the partnership that we have. We can't begin to express the gratitude that we have for having great partners to work with in this industry. Reporters across the country and here in Minneapolis that offer a support network to us to help us report out these stories as they happen. The other thing I should also do is remind you that we got to pay the bills. We pride ourselves on status quo, on being completely independent media. Giving you a look here inside this Hilton where some of the demonstrators are. But we do have to pay the bills here at status quo, and we are completely independent.
Riot Squad is here.
Riot Squad. John's just telling me from looking around that the Riot Squad is here. Yeah, that riot police are apparently here. They're inside the hotel. And we're following some of the protesters moving around to the front. Moving around to the front of the building now.
Oh, right there, right there.
Seeing these protesters moving down the street. We're moving with them here. See the riot police here. In their full riot garb with the batons. These are state troopers, Minnesota state troopers, I will note. Seen some of the protesters come down here to stand directly opposite law enforcement. Giving you a look down here, this line of law enforcement. They're standing. Some of the demonstrators are dancing. Heard one man there from the crowd saying, "Don't do it. They're Minnesotans too." I think the implication being that the anger that the city is feeling is really meant to be directed against the Trump administration, an outside force. Seeing the state troopers moving back. Moving back down the block, but now forming a new line here. These are people, this is a crowd that came out to demonstrate against the Trump administration and the pain it is inflicting.
They're Minnesotans too. This is part of their plan. They're trying to turn us against them. These are peace officers. They have a real meaning. They're part of our community. I am not on ISIS side, but these are Minnesotans too. Don't do it.
Crowd that came together to demonstrate against the pain that is being inflicted on the Trump administration. And now facing down Minnesota State Police.
Don't do it.
Let people know if they're like so look out.
All right. So our equipment that we're using to go live here, as the state police again back up down the street just a little bit, just a few steps. Want to let you know here that as we're operating on just the last little bit of battery that our equipment that allows us to go live here has.
Watch out for cattle. Don't do what Trump wants. Don't do what Trump wants.
If our live signal cuts out here, we'll continue to stay here on the scene to report. We'll be recording everything that we see. So watch Status Quo. In the event that happens, watch our YouTube channel, get subscribed so you can see the reports that we would put up as soon as possible of what the resolution is here at this scene. We'll continue to stream for as long as we can, as long as our equipment will allow. I'll note that this crowd is thinned out quite a bit. Many moving down to the other end of the block, where we see some more flashing lights.
I'm Simon. You guys are always forever.
If you've been with us this whole time as we're in hour 4 now of our broadcast, I want to thank you for being with us as we show what it's really like on the streets of Minneapolis. Yeah. We're going to go down to the other end of the block just to see what's happening down there. We see the lights. We've seen some of the crowd move that way. We want to check that out as well. But if you've been with us here for 3.5 hours now, I want to thank you for being with us this whole time as we show what is happening here on the ground in Minneapolis as the pressure from the Trump administration only ramps up after a member of this community was killed by an ICE agent only a couple of days ago. And now this community wearing its emotion on its sleeve, the demonstration out here today, and trying to express as clearly as they can that they do not want the Trump administration here, trying to fight back in whatever means they can. And this is the state of the country, where you've got riot police out meeting demonstrators in the streets when neither the state government nor the local government nor the local people themselves are saying that they support the federal government. They're saying quite the opposite, that they do not support the federal government. And yet it is these same people against same local and state governments here that are left to argue each other, since the Trump administration is so thoroughly armed itself, and its presence is one that is actively attempted to be disguised. Its agents wear masks, its vehicles unmarked as they patrol through the city's streets here.
They're about to kettle. They're about to What do we got?
4. We're down to our last 4% of battery here, folks. As I said, that's just for the equipment that allows us to be live. We'll continue to record here on the ground everything that happens. So if you lose us, hit subscribe to Status Quo so you can follow all of our continuing coverage from here on the ground. And after we get a chance to recharge our gear, we will be live again tomorrow during demonstrations planned at 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock Eastern. A march and rally here in the Twin